Just about every story has that moment that sticks with you. The stories where people share their lowest points.
We stayed in this condition at least 5 years. There have been times I wanted to go away. I thought about suicide. I've been hurt so bad. And then to see my wife going through like she is, it's painful.
The stories where they share their pain so others pay attention.
As a dad, it's my job to take care of her, and I failed.
Some share their most beautiful moments.
He's not too little. Look what you did. Hi, buddy.
These are the moments that they never leave you. They never leave me. My name is Cristin Severance. I lead the WRAL documentary unit as an investigative reporter and producer. I don't know of any other local television station with a standalone documentary unit. You know, WRAL has had this unit for 20 years. I mean, it's part of the very fabric of what this station does. We travel all over North Carolina and talk to people about the things they care about most: education, gun violence, young people, and mental health. This is a look back at some of the documentaries we've been able to tell over the last year. You know, the people at the heart of these stories.
And we know we can't save a child, because if we could have saved a child, we would have saved our two.
Oh gosh, this is so devastating. It's just, I just cannot believe that I've been stuck here 3 years.
And the moments that once you see them, they will never leave you. You can't forget them. Did you ever think this day would come?
No, ma'am. No, I didn't.
Franklin Jones lives in Dudley, North Carolina, in Wayne County. He and wife Roberta were in our documentary Aftermath, North Carolina hurricane victims left behind.
Aftermath looks at the thousands of people left homeless after Hurricanes Matthew and Florence.
Get safe right now.
This is a powerful storm.
These people had their homes destroyed. They were supposed to be helped by this state program. The entire purpose of the program was to help hurricane survivors get back home.
Who can fix that?
They had millions of dollars, millions of federal taxpayer dollars meant to help people, get home, to be whole again. There were delays, red tape, people waiting years and years, and hundreds of these people had to live in hotels, one-room motel rooms, because the state could not get them home fast enough. Franklin Jones took me through his home last year. It was damaged beyond repair, mold everywhere. The ceilings were falling apart, falling down. You could not live there. And he was at his lowest point. And every time we play that clip, you feel it. I mean, you feel his pain.
Y'all don't know. If it weren't for God, I don't know.
Franklin's wife, Roberta, she was living in the hotel because they were waiting on answers. The entire family got COVID. She's been on oxygen for over a year now. She's in poor health.
It's very frustrating not having anywhere to go and living here in this hotel, in this one room. Now that's depressing.
She just could not believe that this was the situation they were in.
1 year later, we're back in Dudley.
And it's your new house.
Yes, it is. Yes,
Same
it
property.
Is. Same property, paid for.
Rebuild, the state program under intense scrutiny from lawmakers, had finally gotten them out of the hotel. They tore down the damaged home and put a new manufactured home on the property.
It was a surreal experience being back with Franklin and Roberta Jones. I mean, you know, he took us through this brand new house. Brand new house.
Brand new house.
All right, can you please show us?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
I get the door.
All right, perfect. I was in the damaged home. Well, the new home is on the same lot. So you're walking through this house and it's beautiful. It is huge, it's spacious, it's everything they ever wanted. And it's on the exact same piece of land. And so you're walking through and the layout is the same. And so you're thinking, wait, did they repair the house? Which was impossible, it was damaged beyond repair. But you're walking through this beautiful house and they're so happy. And I was moved to tears several times, you know, walking around with Franklin. Did you ever think you would be sitting in your living room and it would look like this?
No. I had no idea. We expected nothing like this. This is what I would call a miracle.
Rebuild has gotten others back home too. This was the condition of Willie and Geraldine Williams' home in Ayden last year. Now it looks like this. In 2022, they were building 5 homes a month. Now it's up to 60 a month. Nearly 3,000 people are still waiting to go home. Rebuild could lose millions in federal funding if they don't ramp up to nearly 90 homes a month. So far, the agency has spent $30 million on hotels for the families who continue to wait.
And to be placed somewhere and left for almost 2.5 years.
The woman in charge of Rebuild, Laura Hogshead, took the blame for the program's failures at an oversight committee.
My name is Laura Hogshead, and I'm the director of NCORE. This recovery is not going as you want it to go, and that is on me.
Why haven't you resigned?
That's a great question.
Hogshead is still at Rebuild.
But making $100 and some thousand a year, and people out here struggling and suffering because they can't get in their home, they living in a hotel.
The Joneses weren't impressed with her or Governor Cooper's answers on why things were taking so long.
Governor Cooper, are these people a priority?
You have not been forgotten. You will never be forgotten.
But you have the same people in charge. You haven't made any changes at the top.
Look, I understand how they don't have trust in the rebuild program anymore.
When you interview the governor, he has no answers.
And this is, I believe this because he knew he wasn't gonna be reelected, that it was just, okay, just let it go on. I don't have to worry about getting no vote.
A month after Aftermath aired, the state brought on Richard Trumper, a state employee with 22 years in disaster recovery, to help the faltering agency. But Franklin and Roberta don't think Trumper is the reason their nightmare is over.
I just stand in awe of what God did for us.
I never dreamed that I would get a house as big. I thought it was gonna put me back into another trailer, which I would have been satisfied. But that's not God's plan. God's plan was to bless us with a home. So we got a home now that we can live and share with the children.
To be with someone when they were at their lowest.
You feel like the system have failed. I hope someday there will be a change. I'm just holding on by faith.
And then to see how far they've come and how they're feeling now. I mean, it was a gift.
The first time in my life to have double advantages.
And it was so special to be able to, experience this with them and just to see how much happier they are.
You as a person that came down and talked to me the very first time, you were so beautiful and respectful. And I'm forever grateful that you took the documentary because it opened a lot of people's eyes.
They had Thanksgiving with their entire family in their new home.
It's exactly what they wanted. And it's so sad they had to wait so long and suffer so much But it was amazing. It was amazing to see this brand new house.
Coming up.
In my heart, I just knew that day I was going to die.
The whole point of Critical Term was to investigate racial health disparities. We set out to understand why Black moms and babies were dying more than any other race.
I worked on this documentary with WRAL anchor Julian Grace.
I'm a mom of twins.
We set out to report on this issue together.
I knew this was happening. I was aware, but I had no idea how bad this was.
I am a father of 4. My wife and I, we have been through this 4 times. And I just didn't realize the information that was out there on what women go through each and every day, specifically women who look like my wife.
We looked at all the factors really contributing to these horrible statistics.
The U.S. ranks 33rd out of 36 developed countries for infant mortality. North Carolina ranks in the 10 worst states for infant deaths.
I wanted to just breathe in his mouth and give him CPR, hoping that would help. That image still hurts me to this day because I couldn't protect mine.
We looked at access to care, implicit bias, training.
Doulas, please stand if you have witnessed racism in the healthcare setting. Wow, it's all of you.
We have Duke, Vanderbilt, UNC.
Correct.
We spent time with these doulas and nurse midwives and these people really on the front lines, trying to save lives.
A doula is basically a coach for a mom-to-be, by her side for the entire pregnancy.
There is one moment I still cannot believe we were there for. We were there when Dayana, one of the pregnant moms in our piece,
Just hoping and praying for a happy, healthy baby.
we were there in the room when she gave birth to Denver. I mean, the trust that she had to allow us into this room is just unbelievable.
Here's a clip from that moment in Critical Term. After hours of waiting and pushing, it was time.
We were there as Dayana met Denver for the first time.
Look at this baby.
The birth went fantastic. It was textbook. She pushed wonderfully. Baby was born. Baby came out looking great, sounding great.
Hi, buddy.
You get to cry all you need.
Yeah. Look at that head. Look, you did that.
I mean, it's a miracle. It is the most beautiful part of life. And we were there, and we got to show it. I mean, all this time later, I still can't believe we were there for that. But it got real. I mean, things got scary fast.
Yeah, I can't either.
You know, right after Dayana gave birth, she started to lose a lot of blood. And the doctors actually asked Jay to leave.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Right.
Oh.
He was really scared. I mean, we had just spent months talking about how Black moms and Black babies are dying, and we have this woman in a healthcare crisis. He took a couple minutes, filmed a video explaining what happened.
About 30 minutes after Dayana delivered Denver, she began to hemorrhage, and that's when more doctors and nurses were called in to see if they could stop the bleeding.
And they were able to save her, and they were able to stop the bleeding. She is fine, baby is fine.
So good morning, Miss Dayana. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
But it was really scary. We know, based on the numbers, there are moms who don't make it.
Come on, buddy.
Come on.
You know, after all of that, we're going to go see Diana and see baby Denver.
Denver is now 15 months old and on the move.
I got her. That was so awesome.
Mom Diana and UNC nurse midwife Venus Standard, who helped deliver Denver, talked to us about that night.
I have to just thank you for allowing us to be there. What was it like watching it back?
It was very emotional, I'm not gonna lie, because I didn't know if I would live or if I would die. I didn't know what would happen.
I mean, I've watched it several times. I show it in classes, and because this is real life. This is something that happens, and it's how it's handled is the key.
Diana was matched with her doula, Cheryl Cobb, through a program run as a partnership between UNC, Duke, and Vanderbilt.
The program has grown beyond our wildest dreams. So we were only supposed to have 175 families that we've supported, and so far we've supported 307.
You really believed what? Having Venus and your doula there. What do you think that meant that night?
I feel like if they weren't there, this would be a totally different outcome. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. Because she listened, I told her, I said, something does not feel right. I don't feel right. And she said, I know, you're bleeding more than I would like, and I can stop it. I just need time, I just have to stop it. And I was like, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm gonna make it through. So it was, at the time, it was really terrible. I was crying, I was like,
scared.
I might never get to see my son again, my mom.
That's what she said to me.
Nothing.
That's what she said. I'm not gonna be here to raise my son. I said, yes, you will.
And just allowed people to see, like, hey, this stuff is real. It's real. It's really real. And this program saved my daughter because God put them in her path. I just believe that God put everyone in place, and it was like a beautiful orchestra. Even the uncertain time, it was a beautiful orchestra. And Venus, yet again, I can't put it in words because there is no words for how she maneuvered. I don't know, that little boy, I don't know, like he's amazing, he's awesome, he's very intelligent, and he just makes my day. And I'm so grateful that he's here. And I'm grateful that my daughter is here just to witness what God gave her.
Also there to see Diana and Denver, longtime WRAL documentary photographer Jay Jennings. He retired earlier this year.
And so he really wanted to see Denver because he was there when Denver was born.
It was breathtaking to be there at his birth, but even more so today, you know, because we had the scare that night. Yeah, that scare. You know, and being asked to leave the room, and I'm out, yeah, and then knowing that here he is, and here you are, and everybody's healthy and happy and smiling, and there's more dimples to go around that you can count.
People will say, oh, I could never do that. And it's funny because I'm always struck with how easy it was. It's one of the easiest things I've ever done.
Crisis Next Door investigated the fentanyl epidemic in North Carolina and why people are dying every single day from this drug.
Fentanyl is an opioid, and what that means is it's a painkiller. In its pharmaceutical form, when it's produced by pharmaceutical companies and approved by the FDA, it's used for acute and chronic pain. Unfortunately, when we're talking about fentanyl from an overdose perspective, we're mostly talking about illicit fentanyl. And this is fentanyl that is produced by drug cartels and used for money-making purposes, not for healthcare.
This drug is killing teenagers. This drug is killing the girl next door. It's taking the lives of two brothers from the same family. It's in our neighborhoods, it's in our cul-de-sacs. It's here. Christy Barker Cummings was featured in Crisis Next Door. She lost her son, 18 years old, Kevin, to a fentanyl overdose.
He was a dynamic, brilliant, talented, amusing person. He wasn't just the kid who snorted the, heroin and died.
Kevin had just turned 18, and he bought heroin from a man, Nathan Wyndham. One of the bags of heroin had fentanyl in it. Kevin overdosed and died. In the documentary, we showed how Christy Barker Cummings forgave Nathan Wyndham in court during this powerful moment.
How sorry he was, how much remorse, how much regret, how much it's impacted his life.
And then you.
And I hugged Nathan. I saw him standing there and I could see him reach for me. I had to hug him, I just felt their humanity.
She not only forgave Nathan Wyndham, Christy starts a relationship with Nathan's wife, Laura. So we were there when Laura knocked on Christy's door for the first time. She was welcomed into her home, and these two women hugged, they embrace, and they really start this journey together, this mission to help people who are suffering, and to really try to bring some good out of something so horrible.
We went back to Christy's to talk to her and Laura about that moment in the courtroom.
And people will say, oh, I could never do that. And it's funny because I'm always struck with how easy it was. It's one of the easiest things I've ever done. If when they look in somebody's eyes and you see genuine remorse and sorrow for what's happened, and you see the pain that they're living with from the guilt, what better gift can I give than to take that weight, some of that weight off?
I had prayed for some certain things before that court date. A week before, I wrote down a prayer that I needed for acts of kindness, mercy, and forgiveness and love to be shown in that courtroom. And in that moment, I got it, and everybody felt it, and it was there for the whole world to see.
Being back there in Christy's home, you can tell these two people have really grown. Their friendship has grown. Christy had gone to Hobby Lobby the day before to buy some picture frames. She also bought this item, this piece of home decor item, specifically for Laura. And she handed it to her, wrote a Bible verse on it, signed her name, and said, I love you, and gave it to Laura. And they are really doing the things that they set out to do. They're working with different groups. They're talking to churches.
They were recently the guests of honor at an event put on by Converting Hearts Ministries and have plans to continue to work with the group.
And they're really trying to just create some change here.
Christy said her heart continues to hurt for Nathan Wyndham, who's still in prison for Kevin's death.
I can't imagine what it's like to, to carry the guilt, right? That Nathan would feel, to feel like, I could have just made an opposite choice.
But you are crying, like you had tears in your eyes. You cried because of Nathan, because you're worried about Nathan, but you lost your son.
Yeah, but I can't get Kevin back, I can't worry about Kevin anymore. And I really do feel, with everything that's happened with us, I've had complete change. I am becoming religious, and I feel, I'm very spiritual, and I just feel like God's hand is in this. And so I feel like Kevin knows. I feel like he is helping to guide this, like, okay, this is what was supposed to happen. This is how this is all gonna make sense. And I feel like we were all victims of a terrible situation.
2023 is almost over. We're looking ahead to all of the stories and issues we want to tackle in 2024. We want to hear from you. Email us, follow us on social media. Trust us to tell your story, because I mean, look at what can happen when people do.